Who was that blue guy?
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Behind the scenes.
Kiri Hart and I had played with the idea of putting Thrawn in Rebels for a while.
Before I ever worked at Lucasfilm or ever imagined that I could work at Lucasfilm, I loved that trilogy, Heir to the Empire. I loved the character immediately. He was just so different.
There was in particular a character that would always come up with us in story meetings, especially for our characters in the Empire, and that is Thrawn. So we have taken him and put him into Rebels.
I am honored and floored and excited and scared all at the same time.
For those who don't know, Thrawn was the major villain in the trilogy of novels written by Timothy Zahn. He's a Chiss, which is the blue-skinned humanoid alien with glowing red eyes. The fact that now he was going to be realized in animation made a lot of people very excited.
Hello, it's nice to meet you.
Timothy Zahn.
When Heir to the Empire came out, I was still in high school in Kansas. My whole family, we had to drive 2 hours to go to a bookstore to get Heir to the Empire the day it came out. And then there was a big fight of who's going to get to read it first. I just soaked it up. I reread it like 1,000 times. Like, I actually stole it and brought it with me. My family doesn't have it anymore. So when Timothy Zahn came, I could sign it. But it's, yeah, it has a big place in my heart. Killian, the art director, he knows I'm a huge nerd. And so he's like, "You're getting Thrawn." And I'm like, "What?" Yes, I'm nerding out about it right now, again. And it's been like months later.
When it came to Maul and Obi-Wan, the fight that leapt to my mind was Kyuzo fighting the other man in the field.
Maul and Obi-Wan.
In the film Seven Samurai. It's the very still movements of the samurai who's moving with intention and grace. It's contrasted versus
Such a
the
good
anger
battle between
in the one man.
Obi-Wan
That guy's moving his feet a lot.
and Maul.
You know, he doesn't have a steady position. And I'm like, well, there you have it. I mean, Obi-Wan has intention. He is calm in this moment. He is centered. Maul is on the edge. Maul is angry. Maul is getting ready. I want to kill you. I've been waiting for this. You know, he's all this energy built up.
It's much more about footwork and the thought process that Obi-Wan has. It starts out as young Obi-Wan. Then we shift him to sort of more what Alec would do when he was fighting.
Alec
and
Guinness.
then the very last one, if you look back at A Phantom Menace and you can see
It
what
was the
Qui-Gon's
Qui-Gon,
doing,
baby,
sort of just
the
move him just a
Qui-Gon,
little
baby.
bit right after Maul changes his.
Awesome.
It's kind of a game within a game almost.
That is so
Dark
awesome.
Saber was first created on Clone Wars.
Dark
George wrote that
Saber.
little speech for Pre Vizsla.
This lightsaber was stolen from your Jedi temple by my ancestors during the fall of the Old Republic. Since then, many Jedi have died upon its blade. Prepare yourself to join them.
Dark Saber.
What
I
I
love this
added
episode
to
right here
that
out of Clone Wars.
was this
Really
idea
cool.
that the Dark Saber was Mandalorian made.
Legend tells that it was created over 1,000 years ago by Tar Vizsla,
Tar
the first
Vizsla?
Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order.
That it was
I
something
love
that the Mandalorians felt was part of their
I hope they
heritage, would make
expand
it
on
way more valuable.
the Tar
And
Vizsla
when
character
Sabine
and
holds it,
a
you
new
get that she
animated
has
series.
something
That would be
very
so
ancient,
cool.
very rare and very specific.
Or live
heavier
action.
than
I'll
I
take
thought.
it anywhere they
Energy
want to give it
constantly
to us.
flows through the crystal. One time,
Even
he
as
ruled
a
all
part of the
Mandalore
Old
wielding
Republic
his
story, you can
Like
have
everything
Tar
in
Vizsla
Star Wars,
there,
I feel
so.
a very big responsibility to it all, to the legacy of the mythology. And when it was decided by George in Clone Wars that the Mandalorians were going to be pacifists under the rule of Satine, I cannot allow all of that to just be disintegrated. We have the warrior element, but we also have a people that change and grow and achieve knowledge like what George wanted. They're not just one thing. They're more like a real people.
We all really love Sabine as a character, and I think that everyone felt like she
Sabine.
was really coming into her own. As we all spent more time with her and in developing her, it just became clear to us that there was a whole storyline for her that would be really satisfying
Really
to
good
people.
episode. I love that
You
episode.
have to trust me, just like I'm trusting you.
It's great. Very good. You're right there.
And see, this is
I
what
think
I
it was
talk
really
about
important for
with,
her to be healed, right? To be able to return
Rebels.
home
And
to be able to
guys, I don't
reconcile
wanna
those
talk through all of
relationships.
this.
It's one thing to walk around your whole life with a chip on your shoulder, but it's a much more difficult
Rebels,
thing
even
to
for
actually
a
go back
kids
and attempt to
show,
heal those
animated
wounds in
show,
the past.
it adds
If
to
there's a
the
chance
lore
that you can rally an
of
army
the
of
overall universe
Mandalorian
of Star
warriors
Wars.
to our cause,
Tar
I have to
Vizsla,
ask
the
you to
dark
do it.
saber.
It's quite powerful
Mandalorians.
that she does that in the name of her new family and her friends.
All of that is
She
building
finds
upon
even
the
greater
lore.
purpose for herself.
So again,
Once
if you're
people
not
know you
watching
have
Star
it,
Wars
you will
Rebels,
be
you are
challenged.
missing out, guys.
And you need to be able to defend yourself.
Let us be of assistance, Captain.
Hera, the woman who you're going to help, looks up at you. So you're very heroic in this moment. So I think we want to project some sort of strength here as you kind of enter this room.
Let us be of assistance, Captain.
She sounds so
Senator Mon
good.
Mothma. When we see her most often prior to this is often in briefing situations, often up in front of a crowd. One of the things that we were able to do, specifically having her and Hera together, right, in the cockpit, is you actually get something a little more intimate.
Sometimes I envy pilots like you, traveling through the stars. You can always leave your problems far behind you.
You get at a moment that's really about her own
I love
ideology,
the episodes with Mon
her own
Mothma
personal
too.
philosophy,
I mean,
her personal
and
commitment,
again,
right, and what it means to her.
for those characters in the saga films that
And
you only
those aren't
see in
moments
certain
that
scenes and you don't
gotten to
have any
with that character before
story
because
on,
the opportunity hadn't
Star
presented
Wars
itself.
Rebels is giving you
Beginning
a
today,
backstory
we
on
stand
Mon
together
Mothma
as
and
allies.
what her
I
role was in the
hereby
Senate and
resign
how
from
she
the Senate
evolved
to
to
fight
become
for
the
you.
leader of the
Not from the
rebellion.
distant halls of politics, but from
Very cool new images from the Star Wars Rebel Season 3 Blu-ray. Looks like we have Ezra. That shot is actually from the first episode that we got to see at Star Wars Celebration. Very cool shot there. Oh, I know who that person is. I'm not going to reveal it, but he is also in the first episode for Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, most of these images are from the first episode, guys. I'm not going to reveal any of that information on these images here. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. This image I don't recognize, so this is probably from a different episode for the new season. Really cool and exciting stuff. The new images. Most of that is from the first episode that I was able to see at Star Wars Celebration at the panel. But again, I didn't want to reveal any of the information or disclose any of the information that is in those photographs because I don't want to spoil that first episode that should be premiering on the 16th of October, if I'm not mistaken. 16th or 15th, I forget. I should know that, and that's terrible that I do not. But very cool images there. Very cool behind the scenes information as well. I absolutely love this Blu-ray Season 3 from Rebels. It is a must-have if you are a Star Wars Rebel fan. So if you have not already gone out and got your copy, you want to go out and get that copy because it's really good behind-the-scenes information. Filoni, all of the people who work behind the Star Wars Rebels show. Excellent DVD, excellent job there. So, guys, I thought we would do something a bit fun with this particular reaction, whatever you want to call this. It is a reaction to it, so to speak, but I'm also going to include some photos I took with my 1/6 scale Luke Skywalker Hot Toys figure. And I also included Rey and a couple of other figures in those photos. So I thought it would be really cool to not only do some toy photography with them, but I also wanted to address some questions with you guys in regards to those photos. So let's get a look at those photos right now. So we all know that at the end of The Force Awakens, Rey hands Luke his original saber, which he has not seen in over 30 years. Rey, there was a hand with that saber. But the question is, what happens after that? Will we see Luke ignite the saber that he hasn't seen in over 30 years in The Last Jedi? I hope we do. That would be very awesome. And what about his green saber? Will we see that saber as well? How much time will we spend on Ahch-To in The Last Jedi? Will Rey be playing with Porgs Will Chewie be eating the porgs? And if Chewie is eating the porgs, will they be forced to leave the island by the caretakers of Ahch-To because of it? We will have to see. And then there's the situation with the death of Han. Now, I know we won't get a Force ghost of Han in The Last Jedi, but will we see Luke and Chewie acknowledge the death of Han? Will they sit around the campfire on Ahch-To and discuss what happened with Han? Rian Johnson said that Han's ghost would be present in The Last Jedi, so to speak. Again, not as a Force ghost. And then lastly, what are your feelings on not seeing Luke and Han on screen together in The Force Awakens? Should the two characters have been allowed to say their goodbyes? All right, you guys. So those are the toy photography photos that I took, and I really enjoyed taking those photos. I hope you enjoyed those photos as well. Please leave answers to the questions that I posed to you guys down in the comments below. I really want to hear from you. I want to know what your thoughts are. What do you think about Luke and Han not sharing screen time together in The Force Awakens before the death of Han? What do you think of what's going to happen on Ahch-To? Is Chewie going to be eating porgs? How much time are we going to spend on Ahch-To? So please leave answers to those questions down below. I really want to hear from you guys, but I want to thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. And from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you always.